You think you'll just dig a hole or two in your backyard. No big deal, everyone does it. What you do not know is that there's something hiding beneath your backyard. Quiet, invisible, waiting. And one small dig can set it all off. Power outage, gas leak, flood, worse. People think it won't happen to them, but it only takes one mistake. Before you grab that shovel, you need to hear this. My neighbor, let's call him Dave, decided to build a fence last spring. A couple of holes in the yard, some wood, maybe a weekend of work. The problem? Dave is just a wing-it kind of guy. So he didn't call 811 before digging. That free number you call to find out if there are any utility lines underground. Yeah, he skipped that part. So he grabs his post hole digger, starts digging, and boom! He hits a gas line. The whole street had to evacuate. Fire trucks, sirens, the works. Luckily, no one got hurt, but he was very close to blowing up his backyard. And his wallet. Between the repair costs, the fine, and redoing his project, it cost him thousands. All because he didn't make a 2-minute call. The thing is, even if you're doing something small, you never know what's under there. Power lines, water pipes, internet cables. You hit the wrong thing and boom. No Netflix for the whole block. Guess what? People will hunt you down. Another story for you, this time about James. He started digging in his backyard, not thinking twice, and hit some underground cable. The internet and half the power went out on his street. The neighbors were not amused. The worst thing though? As an independent contractor, because yeah, James did handyman work on the side, he was the one on the hook. And because he didn't do the one thing everyone tells you to do, and I mean calling 811 before digging, he got stuck paying for the damage. Thousands of dollars. And it wasn't even a big project, just a few holes in the ground. Liam thought he was just cutting a harmless little 2-inch dead gas pipe. Nope, it was a 6-inch live, high-pressure gas main, the kind that could blow the whole block sky high. When the gas company showed up to check the house, they came running out yelling the whole place was filled with gas. Liam was gonna get slapped with a big fine and pay for the repairs, the hours the gas company and firefighters spent fixing the mess, and all the emergency gear used. That could run close to $100,000. So, here's the smart move. Always call 811 before you dig. It's a free service that sends people out to mark where the utility lines like gas, water, electricity are under your property. It's super useful and it can save you a ton of trouble. On the other hand, 811 only marks the public lines that can be on your property. As for your private lines, to detect them, you need to hire a private utility locator. Now, if you're the curious type, pros have some tricks. You can look for letters or symbols near the curb or sidewalk, like W for water, G for gas, E for electric, or check plastic or concrete boxes for labels. That shows where the utilities enter. But just because you know where they start, doesn't mean you know where they go. Pipes and wires don't always run in straight lines. They twist and turn based on all kinds of things, like old landscaping or how someone installed them 40 years ago. Some lines have special tracer wires buried with them, and pros can attach a locator to those and track them underground. They might also use metal detectors or ground-penetrating radar. Or if they're really old school, something called a water witch, which sounds made up, but it's real. And yes, you can try some of this on your own. You can even buy some tools on Amazon. But they're pricey, kind of confusing to use, easy to mess up, and scientists do not recommend using them, saying they don't really work. So the fastest and safest move is just calling 811. But how deep are those underground water and gas lines really? Spoiler, there's no one-size-fits-all answer. Water lines, for example, can be buried anywhere from 12 to 36 inches deep, depending on where you live. If you're in a cold area, they're usually deeper, so they don't freeze and burst in winter. It usually depends on your climate and soil. Want to make a guess where yours might be? Look up your local frost line depth. That's the level in the ground where the soil freezes in winter. According to the building code, water lines should be buried at least 6 inches below that frost line, unless the person who installed them didn't follow the rules. And yeah, that happens. Gas lines work the same way. Most are buried 18 to 24 inches deep, though in some places it can be up to 36 inches. They usually run from the street to your gas meter. Local codes and conditions decide how deep they go, and they're found using the same tools as water lines, detectors, tracers, and sometimes even radar. Now, sewer lines. They're tricky because they don't just sit in one place. They're built on a slope, so the waste can flow downhill. In colder places like upstate New York or anywhere that freezes, these pipes have to be buried pretty deep, like 3 feet or more, so they don't freeze and burst in winter. But in warmer spots, they might be much closer to the surface. So one wrong dig and boom, you've got a smelly mess. You can sometimes spot them if you look around your yard for a little pipe sticking out. That's a sewer cleanout or vent, kind of like the pipe's breathing hole. Electrical lines are a whole other adventure. The rule is, the more dangerous the wire, the deeper it's buried. So your TV cable might just be barely under the ground, about a foot down, which is kind of scary if you ask me. Regular electric wires usually hang out around 2 feet deep, but the really heavy-duty stuff like high voltage lines, those go at least 3 feet under because, well, you definitely don't want to mess with those. If you want a clue where your electric lines start, check out your electric meter on the side of your house. That's usually where the main line comes in. And then there's this whole thing with colored spray paint and flags you'll see once you call 811. It's like their secret code. Red means electrical, yellow is gas or oil, blue is water, green is sewer, orange is your phone or internet cables, purple is for reclaimed water or irrigation, and white shows where you want to dig. It sounds like a rainbow exploded in your yard, but it's there to save you from disaster. Okay, so you've called 811, and those nice folks have come out to spray paint your yard with all the colors telling you where the underground lines are hiding. Great! Now you think, sweet, I'm ready to dig. But hold up, there's a golden rule you really need to follow. Don't even think about digging closer than 2 feet from any of those marked lines. The thing is, those paint marks from 811 aren't perfect. They're more like a rough idea where the pipes and wires run. So you want to leave about 2 feet on each side. That's basically a 4-foot no-dig zone. Digging inside that space? You better be extra careful or risk hitting something important. Builders and installers don't always follow the rules. Sometimes they bury pipes shallower than they should to save time or money. So when the time comes to get your hands dirty, don't go wild with the power tools near those lines. Dig parallel to the lines if you know their direction. That way, if you accidentally bump into something, you'll hopefully just nick the side instead of cutting it clean through. And never ever use heavy equipment or a big pick when you're not 100% sure what's under the dirt. Hand tools only.
That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.